Welcome to Outside the Frame, a podcast for wedding industry professionals to learn how to be better humans in business and life.
We're your hosts,
Caitlin of Skywater Photo and Film,
and Kaylin of Wandering Wildflower Films. We're here to create a supportive and meaningful space for diverse voices to discuss social and personal issues that impact wedding pros.
Our hope is that collectively, we can bring more of ourselves and the things that matter to the forefront of our work in the wedding industry and give all of us the courage to focus our business around who we are and what we care about.
We're so glad you're joining us. Thanks for tuning in.
Well, welcome everyone. We are so glad to be back. Today we are chatting with our first hair and makeup artist on the show, and we're very excited. We have Cate on here, who is a Colorado-based bridal hair and makeup artist, specializing in polished half-ups and Victoria's Secret glam. With over a decade of experience and more than 750 weddings behind her, her work is grounded in precision, intention, and a deep understanding of how personal style translates on a wedding day. Her approach blends soft glam makeup with polished, lasting hairstyles. Known for creating a seamless, luxury experience, Cate offers both hair and makeup services for couples seeking cohesion without compromise. As a queer artist serving queer clients, her work is rooted in inclusivity. She holds space for both masculine and feminine expressions, and everything in between. Each detail is considered from the timeline to the final touch-up, ensuring a calm, supported presence from the first inquiry to the final look. Welcome to the podcast, Cate.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited to hear a little bit more. Tell us about your story. How and when did you get into the hair and makeup space to begin with?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I feel like you gave such a good intro. I have nothing left to say. But yeah, I started, gosh, it'll be 13 years ago, which is absolutely crazy. I can't believe I've done anything for that long and haven't like lost steam, but I'm here still and I love it every single day. So yeah, I started 13 years ago, right out of high school. I went straight to cosmetology school. I was ready to just like create art and like have that be my passion and my job. I started in a salon. I did full service. I did cuts, I did colors, I did nails, I did everything. And within 3 months, I was on probation at that salon and they fired me.
What?
It was not for me, girls. It was not for me. I sucked at it. That's like as calmly as I can put it. I was really bad at doing all of that stuff. And so I was like, okay, maybe I made a mistake. I should go to college. I should figure out like maybe this isn't the path. And so I started taking some online courses and I still needed a job. So I started working at a blow dry bar and my whole life changed that day. Like I realized that like just the fun parts are a whole job. I can just style, I can just do makeup, I can just do people who are happy, nothing permanent, nothing scary, no scissors, no color. And that's literally when my whole world changed. And I just quickly delved into weddings. I dabbled a little bit into commercial, but I really fell into weddings and I haven't looked back since.
That is a crazy story to go from like almost like being fired or on probation to being like, let me make a switch and then completely change the course of my career.
Yeah, I didn't know that this was a whole job. I thought I would have to like cut and color during the week and then do weddings on the weekends. And like, I just kind of thought that that was as good as it got. And it isn't. It gets so much better. So I'm so happy to be on the other side of all of that. I needed to like hit the rock bottom to like really look around and see what my other options were. I mean, there was no one else in my area that was doing weddings full time, so I didn't know that I could do that. So I was very excited to find out that that was an option.
Yeah, it's crazy the things that we don't realize exist until we're like in the realm of it. And then we're like, wow, I didn't even know this was a thing. It's so much better fit. How have you seen things change in the wedding industry since you first started?
Wow, yeah, a lot has changed in the last 13 years. I mean, the obvious one is trends. Like when I first started doing hair and makeup, everything was like burlap and tweed and like baby's breath everywhere. Everything was like that low bun with the braid that you saw on every runway, every celebrity on the red carpet. Now things I think are a lot more personal, a lot more just deliberate and thoughtful. Like couples will have just like planned a lot better. They're not just like going on Pinterest and like picking what's trending. They're definitely thinking about like what do I like? What do I want? What represents us as a couple? And I'm seeing that not only in the hair and makeup choices, but in like the full wedding day planning. I'm getting just vastly different Pinterest boards from every single client, which I think is so fun. I love getting to know my couples that way.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I think that we are seeing a shift of couples being more intentional in their weddings, like in every aspect. And that's come up in other interviews we've had of just, it just seems more intentional. And I love that you are very intentional when it comes to queer couples as well. I've seen a lot of your things talking about that. I would love to hear more about kind of where that came from, or like why you started to emphasize the masculine and feminine energy, kind of like where did that all come from for you?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is like in a selfish way, like my personal life. I am queer myself and in a lesbian relationship. My partner is very masc, leaning butch. So we are engaged, which is super exciting. We're talking about wedding planning, and a lot of it is coming up that there just isn't spaces for people like my partner. And that's really sad to me. Like looking around, like my partner doesn't wear makeup day to day, but when she's getting all these photos done, she like doesn't want to have a red face or like a pimple. And she wants to make sure that, her brows are groomed and she looks like she put in more effort than just showering for the day, So that's where I started really playing into my mask makeup series. And I have all of my best friends are mask lesbians somehow. So that's wonderful because I ganked every single one of them into my studio to be like, let me do your makeup. And that was super fun because I kind of let them pick whatever they wanted. So, like, whereas my partner didn't want to look like she was wearing makeup, just wanted to feel like she was ready for photos. I have some of my more mask friends that are like, oh, I'd love some eyeliner. I would love some mascara. Or, I want to have my face evened out. I want to look like a good mix between feminine and masculine. So it was just really interesting as a feminine presenting person to see the differences in my masculine presenting friends and kind of cater to their needs, learning how to like ask the right questions because a lot of them don't understand makeup at all, and kind of what their desires and wishes are. It was so fun. And that's where I started posting about it because I had so many different experiences with each one of my clients and each one of my friends. So I was able to share with those on my Instagram, and they're doing so well. I mean, I have millions of views on some of these videos, which is fascinating because I didn't realize there were that many people out there that cared.
Yeah, I just think it opens up a whole new world for anybody that doesn't consider themselves to be like a very feminine person. And even, I feel like there's like a whole range of people, myself included, like I literally only have two things on right now. It's like literally mascara and like just a general overall like you said to like reduce like redness. And I just think that there's a whole lot of people out there, gender aside, that just want to feel like their best selves on their wedding day. Like you said, like photo ready, feel like a little bit more special for such a special occasion.
Hmm. That's exactly what I'm trying to just show. And just like my partner didn't even know it was an option. And I hear that a lot from my queer couples that like they've never seen anyone else doing what I do. Like no one else that I've seen in the world is posting about masculine makeup or, the intricacies of doing a style like that with someone who doesn't have a lot of knowledge in makeup. I think is like it adds like another layer of making sure that your communication is top tier because you're ending up having to do a lot of like inferring of what they're trying to say and like what the actual like dreams are, because it's not like they can go to Pinterest and like find inspo. Like they don't know what words to use or how to describe what they're wanting, and then there's no photos out there either. So I really love having so many different styles on my Instagram for them to be like, oh, something between this and this, or I like this one, I don't like that. I think that that's been really, really helpful. Like the more people I get in my chair, the more I can post about it and the more options they have to like put their finger on and be like, that's the one.
No, that's amazing. I feel like that gives a lot of options for them to not just think of like, oh, well, like just tell me what you would suggest, but also just like actually pointing to something and being like, no, that seems like that aligns better with me personally. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
Yeah, and creating that gender affirming like makeup and experience is so special because it's like you think of traditionally the wedding industry is so straight facing, like it's so straight. It's terrible. So it's always bridegroom. It's always, oh, the bride for hair and makeup. But we forget about the other side of it of, maybe they don't see themselves as a bride, or maybe it's even the man. Maybe it is a groom and he's like, I want to get some glam makeup. Like, you're opening that door for everyone to feel affirmed in whatever space they are and whatever they want to identify as on their wedding day.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. It's really opened up a lot of opportunities to connect with my community as well. Like people that I wouldn't have necessarily run into out in the world are now in my chair booking these gender affirming services. And it feels so good to be a part of that.
And we need it. We need more of that in the wedding industry, in the world, and everything, of just people being able to feel like themselves in whatever that capacity is. Are there any challenges or steps that you take behind the scenes that you wish other vendors knew about? And it could be in this queer space of things, it could just be general hair and makeup. Kind of what challenges and things do you work through in the back end that we might not see?
Oh, yeah, I guess twofold. Definitely these queer spaces I would love to see more of. And I'm not saying just like plaster love is love and rainbows all over your website and Instagram. Like, actually, if you look at my website or my Instagram, you won't see a single rainbow emoji. That doesn't really fit with my branding, but it is just so interwoven with my brand world and what I stand for that it would be impossible to think that I wasn't for queer couples. So I think that that would be really important for other vendors to start like acknowledging that not everyone is a bride and not everyone wants to have like pretty feminine makeup. I offer male grooming, obviously my mask makeup. Like I have so many different offers for different needs. And I think it's really important to just showcase that because I don't hear of other people doing that, especially in our area, which I think is kind of crazy being in Colorado. Like we're so liberal here, but I just don't see a ton of other artists really speaking out about it in the makeup sense. Why does no one in the makeup world answer their emails? I'll get that all the time. I say 48 hours, but usually I'm in my inbox every single day and I just write back. Email, DMs, text messages, however you reach me, I'm right there. And I get so many people who are just like, your communication is the best of all of my vendors. And I'm like, this isn't like minimum, just to respond. Like, how are you guys booking anyone if you don't even talk to them? That's my biggest pet peeve. I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, it's fine. I mean, I think communication and even just as another vendor, I notice how many people don't even have another form of communication other than a contact form on their website. Like they don't have their email or their phone number listed. And I'm like, "Do you want me to send you photos? Because I don't want to have to fill out a contact form as if I was a couple in order to send other vendors photos." So I get
Yeah,
it. I get
that's nuts. People are crazy. I'm like, how are you running a business? Like, don't you want people to talk to you? You should make it very easy for them.
Yeah, going off of that, I was gonna ask you, why do you think it's important for other hair and makeup artists to not only be inclusive with all genders, but even like other skin tones and hair textures?
Gosh, I mean, how can you call yourself a professional if you're not offering that level of service? I think that that's quite bare minimum. If you're not able to offer service to anyone, regardless of gender identity, expression, sexuality, race, like, what are you doing here? I don't know. That feels crazy to me. I guess because I started in commercial work, you often have someone of every ethnicity on set. And so I was kind of thrust into that. My very first model I had ever worked on was someone with the complete opposite complexion of me. And like that night I like went home and I YouTube university, like, how do I do this? Like that wasn't what I needed to be doing. I mean, they did ask for me back, so it couldn't have been that horrible, but it should be your personal mission to learn how to do all of that stuff. And I don't think you should be able to call yourself a professional until you've locked in on all of it.
Well, that's great that you like recognize that in yourself of like, oh, like I need to learn more, right? And I think that that's something that we talk a lot about actually on this podcast, of just recognizing where where there are gaps in our experience, where we could do better as, as business owners, as just human beings, of like treating other people the way that they should be treated, or like, honoring who they are as an individual. So I think that it's great that like you recognized that pretty quickly and was like, yeah, I think if I'm going to do this as a career, maybe I should make sure that I
I'm
have the
sorry, I'm not
skills.
sending that email where I say, "I can't do it because of your skin tone." Like, that's absurd. So, yeah, I had to be there. I had to be ready for anything that came my way, especially when it comes to weddings. Like, you're in the industry of love. Like, I don't know how else to put it. So you better be loving on people, you better be loving on love. Like, go do something else. I don't know.
What have been some of the biggest challenges, whether it was with skin tone or textures or like having clients that struggle to communicate with you? Like, is there anything that have kind of come up over and over, or things you've really had to dive into because it has come up with couples or with your other like models that you've worked with?
Yeah, so I take in continuing education every single week. Like, I do not play. I take it very seriously. I'm in an ongoing online program where we get feedback every single week from these amazing and talented hair and makeup artists. And so you'll submit work and they'll literally like pick it apart and be like, this eyelash should be this way, this lip is crooked, like you should have done it like this. And they're European, so they're blunt. Like they'll tell you what's up. And that's changed the game for me. I think it's really important to put blinders on and not compare yourself to others, but always compare your old work to your new work. And that's how you get better. Like when you start picking apart your own work, because anyone can say, like, oh, that's a good photo. Oh, that's a beautiful venue. Oh, I like those flowers. But like, could you do it yourself? Probably not. And so, like, you have to start with your own stuff and work forward from there. So, yeah, I have blinders on my business. I don't know what anyone else is doing in my field, in my like hair and makeup world. Like, I'm only looking at myself and what I'm doing and what I've been doing and how to get better.
That's so smart, and I think that, like, there's some saying of, like, comparison is the killer of creativity or something like that. It's some sort of around that framework, but I think that's so smart to be focusing on just yourself and, like, looking at, "What do I need to grow in? What do I need to do?" Because I think we get so sucked into, "What is everybody else doing? What is the trends? What should I be doing?" It's like, "Wait a second, what do I personally like, what do I need to work on?" And then keep going from there.
Oh, once you have the skill set, you can apply it to any trend. But if you're just chasing trends, like it's not going to go well. It's just not. Like I used to do that, and it's not where it's at. I think really comparing yourself to your old stuff and picking apart every single session is important.
Are there other tips or insight that you would give to other vendors? Could be hair and makeup artists, could be just other vendors in general, to be more inclusive?
Think just talk about it, post about it, tell people. Don't have them come and ask you like, "Oh, are you queer friendly? Are you an ally?" Like I like you lost me as a queer person if I have to ask. You just have. So talking about it and making it known, I think is so crucial and key.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's kind of like that saying about like show, don't tell, like you don't have to say it all the time, right? If you're living and breathing it all the time, then it's like obvious. Yeah, I think even when you joked earlier about like not having to post a bunch of rainbows everywhere for them to understand who you are
Yeah.
and what you do,
'Cause it's not
right?
performative. It's part of me, it's part of my identity, it's part of my brand identity. Like just is. It just exists. It's just part of it.
Has that been an evolution to get to this point where you feel so confident and like, I don't know, tell us more about the evolution.
Oh my gosh, it was so, so scary coming out my business. I came out in 2022 in my business. Before that, I kind of would be like reading the room to see if it was like safe or not to be queer. As a feminine presenting lesbian, I do think it's part of my responsibility to showcase queerness in a way that some people find a little bit more palatable. So I do take that responsibility quite seriously, and that's why I decided to come out my business. It started with just like a little line on my website. It was very very small in my bio, and now like we've said, it's just infiltrated kind of everything. Like I have packages for queer couples. I have my pronouns on my website. Like I ask for my clients' pronouns in their inquiry forms. Like it's just infused everywhere. And it is a slow and steady process. And of course, like being so vocal about it online, I've gotten some hate, which sucks. But I think again, that's like part of my responsibility as being like a straight passing woman. Like I have to be there for my queer community in ways that they can't. And so yeah, I take that very seriously.
I mean, that's huge. And I even like just looking at your website, I love that you're using words like nearly wed. Like you're not there are bride, like bride is on there. There's a few times that you use the word bride, but it's still like it's so focused on being more inclusive and having all of that. And I just can tell like as you speak about it, it feels to me or it seems to me that you feel more confident in your business because of that. Like do you feel that you're getting more excited about the work that you're doing? Like, has there been a shift in the emotion behind your work at all as you've been more open about your queerness with your business?
It's definitely what started my brand. I think before I came out, I was like just a hair and makeup artist, like you would go to my Instagram, it would be a wall of faces and like my website was just like everyone else's and I was just a hair and makeup artist and there was nothing that really like set me apart as different. Coming out as queer, even in that like whisper of a start, it did have me thinking, like, what am I here for? Why pick me over another hair and makeup artist? And just like the why, like what am I doing here? So it just did make me think more about my business, who I am, who I stand for, and why me. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely made me more confident because I had to like I literally sat down for multiple days and just like written out like who's my dream client and who am I and who is my business. And I think that that really just like sparked it in me.
Yeah, you could I can tell even just virtually that like you're like radiating joy. And I think that like that just helps I think a lot of people who have gone through that process to really like explore who am I, what do I want my business to stand for, what makes me different, what is my story, all those things I think once you start looking through all of that and applying that to your business, it just naturally helps you yeah, not just confidence, but just joy and happiness, right? Like, do you feel like you can say confidently say that like you're connecting with people and you're just generally happier with the work you're doing?
Yes, 100%. It's been so great. And now I have people who are not only obsessed with my work, but obsessed with me as a person. And they wanted to hire me to like have me at their wedding. And I just think that that's first off crazy, fascinating. Love it. Love that energy. But I've never had that before. I really started like honing in on like, what am I doing here? Why me? It's been so nice. Like they know who I am, they know what I like stand for, and I think it just oozes out of every email, every Instagram post, every website click. Like you just get it immediately. You just like walk into my little world and you're like, oh, this is what Kate's all about. That's what I'm going for at least.
Yeah, I think it definitely comes across very well. I'm kind of curious how that works when you say like you having like couples reach out to you and just saying like they already kind of know that like you're the right fit. Even aside from that, like in conversations on consults, like how are those conversations started? Like, are you doing like a lot of trials for couples to kind of figure out like where they are on like that spectrum of like either like feminine versus masculine type makeup? Like, how and when do you start to have those types of conversations with your couples?
Yeah, I mean, usually it starts at the very first point because a lot of, especially my mass couples, they're coming in being like, I didn't even know this was an option. Like, you're the only one I could have. Sign me up. So I kind of already know from inquiry. My more femme couples, they can kind of go all over the place. I have some that are just like, oh, I don't really like maybe a tinted sunscreen and I call it a day. Where my other couples, maybe they're like full glam, full beat, like ready to go. So yeah, I think a lot of that starts right at inquiry. I do ask for like inspo photos, kind of what they're thinking. I do have my signature styles, which I post over and over and over again. So a lot of people will see themselves in that, in those photos, in that work, and be like, oh, that's already what I have pinned. Like, I'm so excited you can do this on me. So I'm starting to get a lot more inquiries that just match my overall vibe and aesthetic, which is so exciting because that takes years, I feel like, to get to when you're like, okay, I'm not just like catching up. I'm not just taking anyone and everyone. Like all of my couples are now like dying to book you energy. And I like couldn't be more grateful that they are so excited to work with me specifically, not just to get their hair and makeup done. And I think that that really comes with the branding and with being intentional about, what you're putting out into the world.
Like, so enlightening, especially when we both know that, like, that doesn't happen very often. Like you're saying, if you're one of the only people that either of us knew about, right? Like, clearly there's a lot of room for growth in the industry right now, as we all can recognize. So even though you're saying that you have, like, your blinders on and you've kind of honed in, like, you're like, "I'm not worried so much about, like, what everybody else is doing," but, like, you did recognize that, like, clearly there is still a huge gap and there's a lot of room for growth for uh other makeup and hair artists out there.
I think I'm blinders on in like the back end of my business, like what my pricing is. Cause like we all have different overheads, we all have different costs, we all have a different goal. My goal is not to work 100 weddings a year. So like that's a different pricing model than someone who's working 35 weddings a year. And like I have a studio space, some people don't. I've got a website, some people don't. So like I put my blinders on when it comes to back end and like what people are charging. But I like to do my market research. Like I'm not naive to think that my clients aren't price shopping and like looking around to see like what else is available.
Have you found even people talking about it or like offering? Like, I feel like nobody talks about the mask makeup and everything. Like, it just doesn't exist.
No, I've never seen anyone else posting about masculine makeup other than mask influencers who wear makeup. Like, those are the only
Mm.
videos I've ever seen come across my feed or in my research. Like, I have some people who are like, oh, I do tomboy makeup on myself. Like, here's how I did it, like, get ready with me kind of style, but never like a pro artist. So, yeah, I'm like, I find like drag queen makeup or I find like male grooming, which does obviously have some overlap in skill set, but it's just nice to see yourself represented. Like, regardless how similar it is, it's nice to have yourself. So, no, I haven't seen anything. And that's so sad.
It is. Would you ever be open to like if there were other hair and makeup artists out in the world, maybe in Denver area, whatever, that were interested in it? Would you do you do any mentorships or anything like that?
Oh, girl, I'm the worst teacher in the world.
Oh,
Like, it's important to know your strengths. Maybe one day I'll take some classes so I understand how to teach people, but for now, that's not on the agenda. I just, like, can't I don't know. I don't know how to break it down. I'm like, "You get it?" And then if they don't, I'm like, "I don't know how to." So it's not for me to teach. Maybe someone else will step up, or maybe, like I said, we'll work on the skill set of teaching because I do believe that that's a skill set you can learn, and I don't have that knack. I just don't. I've tried. I used to teach makeup lessons, and like they would all end so horribly. So we just slowly removed that, and we focus on some things that I feel confident that are at the level that I would want them to be at.
You just be inspiration for everybody. You'll just keep posting and then people are like, "Wow, I need to start doing this."
Yeah, I could do that. I mean, never say never, but I don't see it in the future.
in the meantime, your mask photos will just take over Pinterest.
That's the goal. I'll serve as inspo and maybe someone else can step up or like I said, never say never, but I think it's really important to have a narrow field because you can't be so good at everything. Like what is it? Like the jack of all trades, master of none. So I just want to get good at what I do. And then maybe once I'm at that level, I don't know, my bar keeps rising. So I'm like, I never feel like I'm good enough because I keep sliding that bar up and up. So we'll see.
Do you have any things that you're like working towards or any goals that you have right now?
Well, I'm almost booked up for this year, which feels really good. I'm at like 63%. So obviously want to get that number to 100. So that's currently all where my head is at, like business sense wise.
Mhm.
I just did a huge branding session last week. So y'all start seeing some snippets of the new branding coming out little by little. But yeah, just head down, focusing on booking and giving my current brides just like the exceptional service that I would like to be known for.
You are doing the groundwork. You're your feet on the ground, like doing what you need to do to make sure that people are feeling masculine, beautiful, feminine, whatever they want to feel. You are making sure that they feel that in their entirety.
Blinders on and be focused. Like I don't book 2027 yet because I just want to give my brides and newlyweds this year the best experience they can have. And if I'm being tugged at weddings for next year, I just don't think I can offer the same experience because there's only so much mental capacity. So when I say I'm narrowed in, I mean it in every sense, in business and in life. Like I put on blinders on and I focus on what's in front of me because no one can multitask as good as they think they can.
I love that. And that's why you can be so attentive to your couples.
Definitely.
This was such a great conversation. I hope that it inspires more people out there to branch out and think of other people that they could be supporting if they aren't already. And it doesn't mean you have to completely reshape your business from the ground up, that you can do little things to help other people feel more welcome and feel more special. And especially on something like a wedding day, right? It doesn't take a whole lot. Yeah. So thank you so much for offering some inspiration and some joy for for other people to hopefully follow in your footsteps.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you to everyone who's listening. Thank you, Cate, for taking some time to chat with us today. It was so lovely. And we will put information if you want to reach out to her or just follow her on Instagram, get more inspo. We will have all that in the show notes. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, listening to our podcast, and we will talk soon. Bye, everybody.